Hi, this is Johnny Basha. I'm going to discuss about JSP in this session. I have already explained about servlets. The servlets has both advantages as well as disadvantages. Advantages is nothing but each request runs as a separate thread in an web container, so that multiple requests can be easily achieved through servlets over traditional CGI technology. That is, it is very significantly faster than the CGI technology. Also, servlets are scalable because of this feature. About more number of requests can be run as a separate threads in the web container. In the servlet. Servlets also robust and object oriented because the servlets have the capabilities of all the Java APIs. The servlets are also it will lower the CPU requirements when compared to the CGI technology. Servlets is also platform independent. I already told about the Java programming language because it has all the capabilities of the Java programming. That's why we used to call it as servlet as a platform independent. And we have also disadvantages of servlets. The main disadvantages of servlet is servlet often contain both presentation logic as well as business logic. Presentation logic is anything that controls how the application presents information to the user. Generating the HTML response within the servlet code is the presentation logic. Business logic is anything that manipulates data, to accomplish something such as storing data. But our servlets has also must handle concurrency issues. Mixing of, I have already explained about the mixing of presentation logic as well as business logic. Mixing of presentation logic as well as business logic means that whenever a web page changes around within which can be weekly or monthly, then servlets we have to rewrite again and recompile and redeploy. This disadvantage leads to the development of template pages, that is nothing but a JSP, that is Java server page technology. I am discussing about Java server pages here. Java server page is a server side technology, is a very fast way of developing the web content. All template page technologies have the same fundamental structure. An HTML page that a web designer can easily create. Web designer can easily create with special tag that indicate to the web server that code needs to be executed at request time. All JSPs are opposite to the servlets because whatever we are doing in the servlets that can be done in JSP also, but the JSP focus mainly on the presentation logic. It's about the view page where the user can see the information at the output. We'll start. Why do we need JSP? What are the benefits of JSP? What are the benefits of JSP is we can write, web designer can easily write this JSP without learning of Java language, without learning of any Java language. And also the Java programmers can easily write the Java code without dealing with the JSP, without dealing with the web page design. It can change, update, changing the code of JSP can update automatically. Now we'll start discussing about Java servers technology. How the request and response cycle will communicate with the user request and as well as to the server. First, the user request comes to the web server, that is servlet engine. If the file has already is there in the servlet, existing servlet, then it will goes to the server. It will use the response back to the web server and dispatches the response to the user request. If the file is not there in the web server, it will create a source file. That it will create an instance of servlet. It will create an instance of compile to the servlet and then execute the servlet to give the appropriate response to the web server and to the browser, that is user. And we'll discuss about this JSP lifecycle. What are the life cycle of JSP? How many methods are there in the JSP? How many phases are there in the JSP? Totally, I have designed totally 7 phases here, but 7 phases. First one is of the page translation. In this phase, the page is passed. The page is passed, and that code is translated. That code is translated into servlet code. And after that, second one is page compilation. The servlet instance code is compiled, and third one is about the load class. After that, the compiled code, the compiled class is loaded. After that, create an instance. After loading the servlet class, it will create an instance of the servlet, and after that, it will call the JSP init method. We have already explored about the init service destroy method in the JSP. That's the same thing what happens in JSP also, but in after the creating an instance of servlet, the initialization purpose, JSP init calls the web container calls the JSP init method for the initialization portion. It calls only once. It calls only once when init event is created. After that, the sixth phase is like the JSP phase. The web container calls this phase. Service is like business logic. It will process the request and sends back to the request to the user, that is the client. This is the where the JSP service will get the request from the user and also sends the response back to the user. This will shows like the JSP service method. And also we have lastly JSP service method in the life cycle of JSP, where we need some after removing a servlet instance from the web container, this method will be called, the servlet needs web container needs some memory. That time also this JSP destroy method is called. How we start discussing about this JSP, how the JSP is processed. This figure shows the incoming request. The request comes into the web container. This JSP file is translated into the servlet code. This JSP file is translated into the servlet code. In the first step, this is translation method. That is page translation. I already explained about in the life cycle. That is the first phase is like page translation. Here, the request comes into the web container. The JSP file, JSP page is translated into servlet code. The servlet code. Next step is about the servlet code. This servlet code is compiled, and this compiled class file is loaded into the web container. In the third step, we have the web container. This web container creates an instance of the servlet class, for the JSP file and executes the JSP init method. In the fourth step, the web container calls the JSP service method. That is, request and response process will take care by this JSP service method on the servlet instance for the JSP. The result is sent back to the user. The simple, we have already discussed about the JSP. JSP is similar to like XML syntax, what we are writing in the JSP. That is similar to the XML syntax. This syntax shows how the JSP can be embedded into this HTML page. What are the basic needs for writing any JSP tags or template pages in the servlet? We have mainly JSP directives. The JSP directive is an instruction to the JSP engine that are processed. That codes need to be executed at the request time. When the page is translated into the servlet. It is also used to set the global value variables, class variables and methods in the JSP directives. We have mainly 3 types of directives. First one is about page directive. For this writing, including these directives in the HTML page, we should have to characterize with the character within the tag, within the special tag. That is what we are embedded into this HTML page. First one is about the page directive. It will communicate the page. It will communicate page dependent attributes and also gives high level efficiency to the page it has single page. It has single page for multiple JSP pages. For multiple JSP, we can add as many as pages in the single JSP. And also, this is the syntax for page directive. Percentage at page import is equal to, which is the interface, which is the package we need to import from this tag, from this directive. And also we have include directive, which is used to include text or code at the JSP translation time. Because this is the syntax of JSP include directive, that is include file is equal to header.html. This includes the static file, where we can include static file in the single JSP. And also third one is our tag library. It is used to add the custom tags in the JSP. This is the syntax for the tag library, that is tag lib URL is equal to my tags prefix code can, because the code compression everything will comes under this tag library, that is custom. It is used to add custom tags in this tag library. And also this is also very important scripting elements to embed into this HTML page to develop dynamic web content. For this scripting elements are used to include scripting code or Java code into the HTML or into the JSP. In the JSP, this is also used to allow variables as well as methods within the class level descriptions. And also we have mainly three types of scripting elements used in the JSP. First one is about the declaration. In the declaration, block of code can be embedded into the HTML with class level variables and methods. This is the syntax in which we can add scripting declaration code in this, like percentage, exclamatory sentence, and ends with percentage. This tag includes this declaration part of the JSP scripting elements. And we have a scriptlets. Second one is the scriptlets. We can add code fragments or Java code fragments within the HTML page. Code must be valid Java statements and ends with semicolon. We need to have semicolon, otherwise it won't be produce any output. It always starts with the percentage and ends with the percentage bracket. This is the syntax where we can add scriptlets. And also there is expression tag. Expression tag is a placeholder for Java expression where we can add expressions in this tag and scripting elements. Like it is in this expression tags, we cannot terminate it with semicolon. As already told in the scriptlets, it always terminated with semicolon. And also the main and also important aspect about adding the standard actions also. We can have standard JSP actions. This is the commands to the JSP engine to perform specific tasks during the execution of a web page. We have totally four. I have explained totally four main JSP standard actions. First one is about the JSP param. It is used to pass one or more names or value pairs as parameters to an included file. This is the syntax where we can add a standard JSP param. Name is equal to name, value is equal to value. What are attribute values will be given in this tag. And also we have a JSP include. It also allows us to include dynamic or static web contents. The syntax is like, if it is static web content, we have include page is equal to include page. This is the static. It is used to include the static page, and this is used to include the dynamic resource page. This is the syntax for including the JSP standard actions, and also this JSP forwarding. JSP forward standard action is forwarding to the another web content, forwarding to the another web component. The syntax is like this: JSP forward page is equal to main.jsp, because it will forward it to another this respect web component. And also the main and also important standard JSP action is about used in Java class that can be easily reusable. By using this use bin standard action, we can easily reuse the Java classes. Like if you have the syntax like use being id is equal to card. This is the id class, this is the class of the respective class, and the scope session. Session is to get the physical connection with the database. This is all about JSP. Thank you.